Welcome to this month's newsletter topic, which is how much you need to spend to hit your revenue goal. Let's dive down into the numbers. All right, so I tried to simplify this as much as possible. There's lots of ways this can get complex. So we are using some averages, we are using some easy numbers for illustration purposes, and we'll get deeper into this as we go. So the first thing we need to know in order to hit our revenue goal for the year is what is the goal? So, what is that revenue goal? In this example, we put in $5 million as the revenue goal. Now, it's really important to have a revenue goal because that's what gives you the ability to back into all of the other departments that you have and determine how many people do you need in operations or services or intake or sales? How many leads do you have to have? How many clients do you have to service? So, this number answers a lot of questions. And we really advise founders to pick a goal that is achievable because what we see is oftentimes most visionary founders have the most ambitious goals, but it's really hard to incentivize a team, especially when that have been with you for more than a few years and miss the goal multiple times if they have, to get motivated by the goal. So there's definitely pros and cons to a goal that's reachable versus a stretch versus an outlandish goal. So first we have to set the revenue goal for the year. After that, we have to get an idea of how we're going to hit that through the clients that we have and with adding more clients. So in this example, again, there's lots of ways to get to some of these numbers, but what we would do is go get the average annual revenue per client. So if you go into QuickBooks or whatever system you're in, you can usually pull a report that's the revenue by client by year, and you can export that to a spreadsheet and get the average. There's going to be people that are way higher, way lower, but we like to use the average just to get some math in here, get some numbers in here, and then we can do further analytics from there. So in this case, the clients do about $6,000 a year in annual revenue. So what we know from that is that we have to service about 834 clients this year in order to hit our goal. Again, that gives us lots of really important information around staffing, around lead generation, and all the other numbers that can impact other departments and how we can actually achieve that. So lots of other work has to be done after going and getting this number. All right, so let's go down. Now we know we need 834 clients. Let's say that currently we already have 400 clients. So we're rolling into the new year maybe. We know we have 400 clients with contracts. We're fairly comfortable with that number. And we know that we need net new of 434 clients. So we need to figure out how to add 434 clients. Now, this is where things get really interesting. In order to hit this goal, we know that it takes money to make money. There's very clear correlations for founders past the $3 or $4 million mark. It's a very clear correlation to how much is spent on sales and marketing and their growth rate, as long as that capital is being deployed into sales and marketing correctly. So what we need is the CAC, the customer acquisition cost. If you don't know how to get your CAC or haven't done that before, we're going to put some links in this newsletter to some of our other videos and tools. We've made some simple Excel tools and things that we've sent out before where you can get a rough estimate of your CAC. So the customer acquisition cost for this, in this example, is $520. So if we look that we need a net new of 434, we multiply it by 520. That means that we need an additional $225,680. We need that much, 225K roughly, in additional sales and marketing spend on top of what we're spending to hit that growth goal. So that can be a lot for many founders, but that's how we start to back into the number to have the conversations around, okay, how can we move that number? Can we move that number down? Is that number too low? Do we need to actually go higher to make sure we hit it because we have certain targets that we really have to hit for other reasons? So this gives you a rough number of using the CAC to get the number that you have. And the other things that are going to come into play here that would make this even more complex are things like churn rate. Is it subscription versus non-subscription revenue? The timing of those contracts. If most of your clients come in Q1, then you're probably going to recognize that full $6,000 in annual revenue from them. Unless it's a 12-month subscription and it's all evened out, right? If they come in March, then you're going to be through March of the following year. So there's definitely some numbers to dig into. But what we find is this number really facilitates one of the most important conversations of, do we have that capital available? Can we actually hit that number? And if we don't have that capital available, one, do we lower the number? Or are there some really important other initiatives that are going to happen that are going to move the needle on that number that don't have to do with this? Like, for example, maybe an acquisition. So that's our just first step, the easiest way to look and see, how do you hit what is your revenue goal for the year, and how much capital you're going to need to hit that goal. Thank you for joining. And if you have any further questions, please shoot us an email. We're happy to share additional information or resources that can help you calculate and hit your revenue goals for the year. Thanks.